What's up, everybody? You guys did it. Does that sound bad to you too, or is it just me? Is that coming through okay? I apologize for the format of that. Is that staticky or is it just me? We good? Just me. Just getting old. Just getting old. Well, first of all, let's all stand up and congratulate ourselves. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on now. Let's go. Get up. All of you get up. Come on. Let's go. You did it. You did it. You survived. It's the very first customer success conference in this entire country. Congratulations. Okay. Well, congratulations. I'm very proud of us for being here. I'm ecstatic, by the way. I live in Portland, Oregon. I'll tell you about me in a second. Let me see if I can figure this thing out, too. Cool. Okay. What we're going to talk about over the next 30 minutes or so, and I will try to make this brief, I swear. I do not want to keep you guys any longer than I have to. Frankly, I'm ready for a beer or a cup of coffee. But what we're going to talk about today is the power of one. The power of one. What you can do with one cup of coffee, one beer, and one day. Think of all the things that you did today. Man, this is really delayed. I apologize. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting it. Think of all the things you've learned, all the speakers you've heard, and everything that you've done in this one day. I'm going to walk you through a few stories of personal experience of exactly that, the power of one. One cup of coffee, one beer, and one day. All right, so let's set the table first of all. I have this odd title, Customer Success in the Wild, Beyond the People. I need to explain all of this before we can really move forward so that we're all on the same page. So first of all, what is customer success? Surprisingly, I have not seen this formula yet today on any of the presentations, but has anybody seen this before? A few of you? Okay. Customer success is the customer's definition of success. This is all it comes down to, guys. It's really not that complicated. Lincoln did a nice job of kind of setting the table this morning, but you can take everything you've learned today and everything you ever will learn about customer success, and you can bring it back to this very basic formula. And I'll give you some examples. The customer's definition of success, and it's their definition, and it's a person-to-person definition. It's not an account. It's not a B2B or a B2C, and we'll talk about that in a second. It's a person. You've got two people, oftentimes. You've got your champion, and you've got your sponsor. Your champion is the person that you work with every day, and you work with them on the day-to-day, and you're like working through the weeds, and they're your tactical contact, right? Sometimes they're your user, sometimes they're your SME, etc. The sponsor is the one who writes the check. They both have different definitions of success. What matters to the sponsor is very different than what matters to the champion. And we'll talk about that. In both cases, it's their definition of success, and it's quantified very simply, their desired outcome plus their desired experience. If you can deliver a better outcome and or a better experience than your competitor, you will have a higher quantification of customer success. And we'll walk through a couple examples of that. That's really as much as it comes down to. Where this thing was born was the shift in this is a macro level shift in the economy. How we do business today is different, definitively different. And this is what gets me so excited. And I'll tell you guys my story. You'll know why I stand here, why I get so amped up, what the hell the donkey with the plunger on it means, all that stuff. I'll explain it all, I promise. But this is why when I discovered customer success, I knew I was home. I now think of all of you, by the way, as my CS fam. I refer to customer success family. It genuinely is. And the reason I'm so passionate about this thing, this customer success thing, is because of this right here. It was a macro level shift in the economy that created the need for this. That's why it's different than customer support, even though it sounds a hell of a lot alike. And it's different than customer service, even though it sounds a lot like that. It is definitively a new thing. And it was born out of the shift from the product era to the services era. When we had to buy a product to achieve our desired outcome, we were living in the product era. And there's a bunch of things that went along with that. Specifically in our world, a reactive, tactical customer support function. How quickly can I answer the phone? How fast can I put out the fire, and how quickly can I get on to the next one? That was basically customer relationship management. Then the internet became a thing. And all of a sudden, we could purchase our outcomes without purchasing the product. That's why this is so exciting. This is well beyond SaaS. This is well beyond any one given industry. Every vertical, and I'll walk through a few of them, are moving to the as-a-service model. That's where customer success lives. I work with very, very large brands who are doing device as a service. I'm from Portland, Oregon, where Intel is headquartered. They have wafers that have a speed as a service. Your computer can literally go faster now if you pay a higher subscription than if you pay a lower one. They can actually make the computer faster as a service. Everything. You guys see those scooters? Yeah? Anybody going to go buy an electric scooter now because you can use one for like $1? Right? Nobody's going to, because frankly, we never cared about the scooter. Nobody ever cared about the product. What they cared about was their desired outcome. And once we could get our desired outcome as a service, we no longer have to buy the product. Think about movies. Anybody got Netflix? Yes, all of us. Anybody still buy DVDs? Makes sense, right? Because frankly, we never cared about that little piece of plastic that was like this big, and you had like stacks and stacks and stacks of them. I don't know if you guys had like the CD cases back in the day, like the 6-disc changers in like the trunk of your car next to the big 12-inch subwoofers like I did. I don't know, maybe that's just an American thing, I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing, once I got Spotify, I never bought another CD. And once I got Netflix, I never bought another DVD, because all I wanted was the outcome. I wanted to be able to watch the movie. And back in the day, I used to have to buy the product. Now, thank God, I don't have to. I can just subscribe to Netflix. Now, what that does is significantly change the financial risk that we'll talk about. But this is the long story short. Your customers never cared about your product. In fact, they don't today. Your customers want their desired outcomes fulfilled. They have problems, pain points, and needs. And if you can satisfy that desired outcome through a better experience, a more frictionless experience, you will have a higher level of customer success. But unless it's a piece of art or something like that, we never care about the product. We always cared about the outcome, which in this case is the hole. You don't buy a drill bit because you love the drill bit. You buy the drill bit because you need to drill a hole. Same thing is true for your customers. So if you can afford your customers, and I've heard this mentioned 3 times today in different sessions, the reason Uber killed the taxi industry was not because of the desired outcome. The outcome was exactly the same. I get a ride across town. It was simply the experience. If you go back to that formula that I started with, the customer's desired experience is so much better with Uber. I can order it on the app. I can pay on the app. I can see where the car is. It's a personal car. It has a bottle of water, usually, waiting for me. Mints. It's nice. All of those things. Cabs, I have to call or hail one. Usually it's got a piece of plastic between me and the driver. I don't really know where they're at. If you ever have to order one in the middle of the night to go to the airport or something, it's a complete nightmare, because what if you miss it and now you don't get to your flight? Not like that ever happened to me in Vancouver, BC or anything. But my point is, and I heard this 3 times today, you guys get it, the desired experience is so much better with Uber that is why it has killed the taxi industry, okay? Keep that formula front of mind as I continue to talk through this stuff, okay? So the subscription economy is showing up everywhere, and this is why I love this stuff so much. This is why I get so fired up about customer success. I can guarantee you, you will never find somebody who loves this shit more than I do. I mean, if you do, please introduce me, because I will love that person almost as much as Simba and Henry, which I'll introduce you to in a second. But it's happening everywhere, guys. It's happening in entertainment. It's happening
with automobile ownership. It's happening with furniture. And it's even happening with toys. Who's got children? Have you ever bought your child a toy only to find out they got bored with it very, very quickly? Did you ever care about the toy? What were you buying the toy for? What's that? Quiet? Yeah. Entertain them? That was the outcome that you actually wanted, right? You don't care about the product. And what you can now do with Einstein in a box is put it in a box and mail it back. You never have to buy another toy. They ship you a box of toys. Your kid gets bored with them. You ship them back. You get new toys. Because the experience is also better and they get the outcome. Yeah, it's all starting to make sense, isn't it? It's good stuff. Unique nature of this, however, the macro level shift in the economy that I referred to, when we can now buy outcomes through services or the as-a-service model, completely shifts the financial risk, however. And this is also what gets me fired up. And this is why customer success is critical. For future growth of any business that is predicated on a subscription-based pricing model, this is why we are so critical. This is why we have to be a core operating philosophy for any business moving forward. If you're going to do anything more than sell transactionally to a customer one time, you need customer success, and it's because of this. When I had to pay $19 for one movie to get that outcome, I paid all of the lifetime value for that purchase up front. All of the financial risk fell on me as a consumer. Now, when I can pay $9 for 1 million movies on Netflix, all of the financial risk lies on the vendor. And so what that means is they need me to pay that $9.99 over and over and over and over and over again. That subscription-based pricing model requires that repeatable revenue. It's also got a ton of upside for business, and I don't have time to get into that today, but that shift in the economy changed the financial risk, and that's what puts customer success on the forefront of business moving forward. That's why when I discovered it 4 years ago, I jumped in head first. Said, this is it. This is where it's all going. I'm going all in on that. In fact, I wrote an article called All In that's on LinkedIn that talks about my entrepreneurial sort of journey into customer success. Customer success, by definition, is not a B2B or B2C endeavor. It's not a business-to-business endeavor. It's not a business-to-consumer endeavor. What customer success is about making that person's life better. Customer success is a P2P, person-to-person initiative. There's a great book by the godmother of Chief Customer Officer. That position was basically invented by a woman named Jeannie Bliss. She wrote CCO, and then she wrote CCO 2.0, outlining what Chief Customer Officers should do. She talks about this in great detail. It is our job to make their life better. If we can make that person's life better through the use of our products and services, we will have accomplished customer success, okay? If we can save them money, that's fine. But you know what people care more about than money? Time. You can always make more money. You can't make more time, guys. And your customers know that as well. So, speaking of people, here's me. There's Henry. That's not Henry, by the way. That's Simba. Henry is 8. Simba is actually 5 now. He had a birthday like last week. I should have looked at my calendar a little better when I was heading over to Tel Aviv for this. Let's see. What do we like to do? We like to swim. We like to teach our 8-year-old how to bet on horses. That was the Kentucky Derby last year. Skiing, American football, of course, Harry Potter, just like any good red-blooded American 8-year-old boy. Baseball there in the middle for Father's Day last year. This is my life, guys. And the reason I share my life and the reason I combine my life in my professional and personal is because people make business decisions based on personal preference. I want you all to know me. I post a video on LinkedIn almost every single day. and only about half of them are actually anything about customer success. I have taken LinkedIn and used it as a personal platform to get to know people because I'm so passionate about this thing that is customer success. And I want to extend my customer success family as wide as I can. That's why I'm so ecstatic to be here. I am truly grateful for the opportunity to stand before you today. I do not take this for granted for 1 second. So all of that's nice, but why the hell should we listen to them? Well, Success Hacker is probably one good reason. We are the industry's leading provider of training and education in customer success. We have an innovative subscription product, actually, that opens up all of our content. We have multiple levels of content, and with each level we certify you, just like the Scrum Alliance certifies people for agile development. If you've ever heard of a Scrum Master, we do the same thing for customer success managers, all the way up to VPs and heads of CS. I've been in front of customers for over 25 years. My first job was the front desk at a health club, like the membership kid, answering phones and like checking people in, cleaning bathrooms, doing that stuff. And then I went into call centers and I took phone calls for a long time as a customer service rep. Then I got into training and education, and I was in front of customers teaching software for quite a while. And then I ran a support team at a very large software company where I learned how you could take support, what's historically like an overhead expense, and make it a profit-generating part of your business. And then shortly after that, I became the head of customer success at a company that was having a churn problem. And they hired me in to do that, to fix the churn problem. And I said, okay, I think I know what this thing is. And you know what? I didn't have a clue. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was customer support, just like everybody else. That's when I discovered it. That's when I had my aha moment, and that's when I went head first. I became an entrepreneur. I founded a company that does customer success consulting, and somewhere along the line, I met the founders of The Donkey. The Donkey's whole premise is anyone can be a unicorn, guys. You just have to work your ass off. Okay, so let's see. 2001, June 2001, my first job out of college, I was taking customer service phone calls, and I was cutting my teeth on the success or support and service side of customer relationship management. But what I never understood was how I could actually impact the business and what I could actually do as a 21-year-old kid. And I'll come back to that in a second. So what is customer success in the wild then? If we've gone through and defined what customer success is, and it's all predicated on this, what I find as I've gotten into this really deep is I find other areas where customer success principles play out. Beyond the B2B SaaS and human like relationship management, I like to find places where the business strategy actually applies. One of which was Alaska Airlines. I had flown a lot at the end of last year, and I had 5,000 miles before I was going to be MVP Gold for them for all of this year. And so on December 28th, I flew from Portland, Oregon, where I live, to Hawaii and back, just to get 5,000 miles, just so that I would be MVP Gold for this year. That is an explanation or a description of effective customer segmentation. Because I knew where I stood in their segmentation, they got more revenue out of me. They actually got me to buy a ticket for nothing other than having an effective segmentation strategy. Yet we oftentimes want to treat all customers the same. I'll explain why that's a really bad idea here in a little bit. Okay, so where are we going to unpack this sort of like in the wild, beyond the people? So again, I don't know what happened with the formatting of this, but such is life. We're going to talk about 3 different ways that customer success goes beyond the people and the relationships that we talked about. Make no mistake, everything that I talk about is about making people's lives better. But how we make those lives better differs very greatly. But at the end of the day, it's about making people's lives better. That's why this is such an amazing endeavor. Number 1, in the product. We'll talk about that. Number 2, technology. And then finally, revenue. I'll walk you through a revenue model that I developed 3 years ago when I founded a company called RevDev. And a marketing expert, a sales expert, and myself put together our heads collectively for months, and then what we were able to come up with in just one day was truly revolutionary. Here we go. October 5th, 2017, I'm going to have a cup of coffee. I'm going to have a cup of coffee with a guy named Pat. Pat is a serial entrepreneur and has founded many companies and been very successful in technology. His latest endeavor hasn't gone so well, and I walk in and he sits down and he says, I think I just brought in customer success too early. And for me, that's kind of shocking, being that I feel like customer success is that critical to business, that I jumped in head first and dedicated the rest of my career to it, and I get so fired up about it. So I ask him, what do you mean? And I get this question all the time. What is the right time for bringing in customer success? You cannot bring customer success into your business too early in the subscription economy. What you can do by bringing it in as early as possible is help refine your go-to-market strategy and your product development, your product market fit, if you're familiar with that. So how we do that is collaborating with our customers. If we can sit down and collaborate with our customers or prospects, if you haven't even gone to market yet, you still should have somebody running customer success. And that person should be working with your prospects and seeking out engaged partners to help you finalize your go-to-market strategy and your MVP of your product so that you can hit market as profoundly as possible, so that you have a better product market fit than your competitors. But what you can't do is just bang the drum of customer success. And this is why Pat thought he brought in CS too early. Because he had a customer success leader who was listening to customer success, or to their customers, and coming in and just literally speaking as though they were one of the customers. Upset about things, all of the ideas. Your customers and your prospects are going to have thousands and thousands of ideas of what you should do with your product and how you need to operate your business. So what you need to do is what I call the insulation function. You have to insulate your internal stakeholders and customers, frankly, because we have external customers and we have internal customers. And our internal customers are the ones we actually work with. That's the company we actually work for. That's the one that should matter the most. But oftentimes in our effort to advocate for the customer and become that trusted advisor, we don't do anything other than listen to the customer and turn around and unload the heat onto product, engineering, and leadership. It's our job, guys, to take that heat, shield the internal stakeholders from it, distill down all those ideas, and then bring them the most effective, compelling, and frankly, strategically important ideas that they get. So if I have 100 ideas, there might be one or two that I would want to bring to my CEO and product managers, and they would be in line with the direction of our company. However, the only way that I'm going to know that is if I'm in the boardroom at the leadership level. If I'm brought in early in the maturation of the business as a whole. That's the only way I can do it. So I have to be completely aligned with everybody internally, and then that helps us align externally. We go to market faster, we come to market with a better product market fit, and we kick the shit out of our competitors. That's the idea, okay? That's the power of one cup. After one cup of coffee with Pat, we talked through this, and I explained to him, it wasn't that you brought in customer success too early. It's that the customer success leader wasn't operating in an effective way. They needed to insulate what they were finding. They needed to be involved in the direction and be able to distill down all of those massive ideas down to one or two really good product insights. Okay? You guys with me? Okay. All right, and I forgot to do something. So before I move on, I want everybody to stand up. The formatting on this kind of threw me off. Let's all stand up. Let's come together. We're going to take a selfie. This is the most important thing of this whole talk. We're going to all get a selfie. Let's all bring it to the middle here. Where can I stand to be the most effective here? Get in here, guys. Come on. You were in the first ever customer success conference in Israel. Come on. Bring it in. Hug it out. In all of the Middle East, is that right? Yeah? I'll go with it. Yeah, I'll go with it. I like it. I like it. I feel a little bit like Ellen, if you've ever seen that. Is over there better? You think so? She's like, I'm on this side. She's like, come over here. You guys all in there? We got everybody? I need you to stand up. You got to stand up. We're not taking it. You got to stand up. You got to stand up. Come on, guys. Peer pressure. You got to stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Unbelievable. Okay, I couldn't do it. All right. I'm going to take 100 of them, so smile for a long time. Congratulations, guys. You did it. Thank you. Okay. I'm going to move through the rest of this really quick because, let's be honest, we all want to get the hell out of here, don't we? All right. Story number 2, how customer success goes beyond the people into technology. I walked into a bar one time to meet somebody for happy hour, and a VP of engineering from a very successful software company was standing there. And I walked up and said, hey, Eric, how you doing? He said, I hate customer success. First words out of his mouth, because he knows I love it. He knows I'm like the customer success guy in Portland. And I said, oh, interesting. Tell me more. I want to know. I got to understand these things. Why would you hate customer success? He says, all they do is beat up my engineers. They just come and they kind of got problems, and there's all these problems. They're not helping anything. They're creating friction internally. Remember, we have 2 kinds of customers, guys, internal and external. We need to treat our internal customers the same way or even better than we do on the external. So this particular company had a high-touch only model. And if you have a product that is it's highly technical and it's hard to implement, and we just figure we're going to just go high touch, and all we have is a high touch model, I will tell you this story as a heat of warning. Be careful with that, because here's what has happened at 2 organizations in Portland. They price it correctly for the high touch model, but they never implement any intelligent service modeling. They don't have segmentation outlined. So they treat everybody the same, and for every X number of new customers, they have to hire a new customer success manager. That seems like that would be just fine, doesn't it? As long as you price it correctly, you can offset your overhead, and it'll be just fine. Except what happens is you don't also hire another engineer and another product manager and another person in HR and another person in finance and another person in support. And ultimately, the customer success team becomes bloated. They become overly large in relativity to the other parts of the organization, and they become an overbearing presence in the enterprise. That's what happened for them. Because they didn't ever implement an intelligent service model, high touch, low touch, tech touch, and then ultimately any technology to Tango, Gainsight, Excel spreadsheets, I don't know, anything. They just had a high-touch model. They were actually operating on an unintelligent service model, and then they never had any need for any technology, but then the CS org starts overweighing itself in the overall organization. So this is where customer success can actually come into your decision-making around what technology to buy. And there's some great platforms out there. There's about 15 now in our little space, our little category of customer success. And obviously Gainsight's the big one. Tango is kind of like right on their heels. Client Success, Strike Deck, Churn Zero, Natero. There used to be one called Blue Nose. There's a bunch of them. I'm friends with a lot of the CEOs. They're great people, great products, serve very different uses depending on your size. Some of them have very good differentiators. Let's see. Strike Deck, Shrisha Ramdas, the CEO there, has a background in marketing automation. So they do one-to-many really well. So if you have like a very tech touch kind of approach, that's a good one. Client Success, Dave Blake was an executive at Adobe, could never get the dashboarding that he needed when he went and set out and founded Client Success. So they do visualization and data really well. So it's all based on what you're looking for. There's all great players. Gainsight's amazing. Nick Mehta, by the way, the CEO at Gainsight, is an amazing human. He is incredible. For being the biggest player in our space and creating the category, he is in just phenomenal culture at the company, very, very amazing people in customer success. That's one thing, another thing that I love about customer success. Not only that it's the future of business, but the people that it attracts are people. And I love that. I love people. That's why I'm here. That's why I flew halfway around the world to be here, to meet and extend my CS family to Israel. By the way, I spent the whole weekend here. Super great. I'm sorry I brought the rain. That's on me. That's on me. When I leave, it'll get nice again, I promise. The rain follows me everywhere. But yeah, I went to Jaffa, I went to the port, I went and I actually met with the Digitel team and talked with Zohar, Sharon over there and his whole team. Got to see the municipality building and the square. I love Tel Aviv. I even bought a t-shirt that says, I heart TLV. You guys live in a very special place. So anyway, I digress. Back to the one beer. There you go. On we go, right? I'm going to get through this so we can go get a beer. Or at least I can. I don't know if you guys are. Okay, and then finally revenue. And this is one where I'm going to slow down a little bit. These slides will build, so you can take a picture at the end if you want. This is a revenue development blueprint that outlines exactly when, where, and how customer success affects overall top line and bottom line revenue in an organization. Okay? So when executed correctly, these are the outputs that you'll see in your organization. You'll have a higher marketing ROI, meaning your return on your investment at the customer acquisition cost will be greater if you do this. A faster sales cycle, higher conversion rates, lower customer acquisition cost, and then a higher lifetime value because you'll keep customers longer. First and foremost, customer success preserves revenue. You can see renewal. Yes. That's blocking and tackling basic stuff. We have to keep the customers that we are given, and that's absolutely bare bones, the beginnings of customer success. Retention. Customer retention is king. We've seen a lot of that today. Customer success also expands revenue. If you notice how the green circle got larger. That's what this is here, by the way. This is a pretty traditional like land and expand funnel. Up at the top, you have marketing in red. And then you have sales in green, and then you have customer success in blue at the bottom. So what marketing does is drive your demand generation and awareness. That's how people find out you exist in the first place. Then sales goes through the evaluation and decision-making process, helping your prospects decide, are you the right company for them to invest in? And then they become a customer. And then we take over. We activate, that's getting them onboarded. We optimize, making sure they use everything that they've purchased as well as they can. And they're not leaving any shelfware, meaning they're paying money for something and not using it in all possible capacities. Renew, obviously we talked about that. Expansion, that's buying more, right? Or using more. And now we move into the real golden ticket of customer success, advocacy. If we can get a customer to bring us a net new customer that we don't have to market to at the top of the funnel, we save the entire acquisition cost. They cost your company 1/10 what a net new customer costs that you have to market to. So perfect little story. I'm at my mom's house. She's 72. She turned 72 a few weeks ago, by the way. I can't believe that she's lasted this long as my mom. I was not an easy child. Let's just say maybe I might have burned our backyard down one time, maybe. So I'm at her house. I say, Mom, let's watch a movie. She says, okay, which DVD do you want to watch? I said, what? Like, you don't have Netflix? No. Okay, Mom, I got to sign you up for Netflix. Let's get you on Netflix. That's advocacy. Netflix never marketed to my mom. That's not their ideal customer profile. We'll talk about what that is in a second. But they made me so wildly happy with it, I can't imagine my mom's life without it. And so they got a net new customer for life that they didn't have to market to, and so they saved the acquisition cost up at the top of the funnel. That's customer advocacy. If you can do that, that's where you unlock exponential growth. Lincoln talks about that quite a bit. ICP, ideal customer profile. So in addition to driving advocacy and creating frictionless, easy experiences for our customers to bring us those net new customers, we also need to be partnering with marketing to refine who we are marketing to. If you're marketing to the same wide net today as you were a year ago, you're doing it wrong. You're not learning from churn. You're not learning from renewal. It's our job in customer success. It's our responsibility to tell the stories, the successes and the failures, so that we can market more efficiently up at the top of the funnel. We should be narrowing the target of who we go after because we know as time goes on who those success stories are. And if we're not doing that, we're not doing our jobs in customer success. So what you can tell here is that it covers basically the whole organization. All of the pre-sale and post-sale activity should be impacted positively, mind you, by customer success. And then finally, customer success owns revenue. Own a number, guys. I've been going to the Gainsight Pulse conference for years, and they've been talking about getting a seat at the revenue table. And we're finally mature enough now as a discipline and a domain in customer success that it's not a debate anymore. Should we have a number? It's just what number should we have? Retention, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But what about expansion? What about variable compensation around expansion? And I think this is the last one. Yeah. So if you do want to take a picture, this is the one that's totally built. Retention, expansion, advocacy, net new, all of those things could be numbers that we can have and be quoted and have variable compensation accordingly. Own a number, a revenue number. We developed this in one day. After months of kind of tinkering with my partners as we started this company, we sat down. I went to San Francisco for one day. We sat in front of a whiteboard, and we went through about 1 million iterations of that, and we came up with that revenue development blueprint. It's amazing what you can do with the power of one. One cup of coffee, one beer, one day. So for those of you who aren't sure how you can impact your organization, just like I wasn't sure in June of 2001, I urge you to walk out of here and reach out to your product managers. Ask your product manager to go have a cup of coffee and see how you can help them. Ask your engineering team about intelligent service modeling. See what you can do with your leadership to devise a strategic way to service your accounts and your customers in an intelligent way so that you don't become over bloated. And then do what you can with revenue. Own a number. If you're a leader in here, own a number. Put your neck on the line and put some skin in the game for the overall growth of your business. It's no longer just about retention and keeping the customers that we have. It's about growing them and getting us net new through those advocacy channels. As you walk out of here, that's the one thing I want you to know is the power of one. Okay? And by the way, the power of one selfie too. Oh, and finally, and this is it. I promise. We're done after this. Where's my phone? Everybody have LinkedIn? Okay, go to LinkedIn. If you got LinkedIn on your phone, this is fun, especially in a big room like this. Okay, when you go into LinkedIn, you're going to click on the two little people at the bottom, the My Network thing, right? And then you're going to hit Find Nearby, which is in the middle at the top. And if it asks you to enable Bluetooth, do it. It'll be worth it. And you're going to find everybody in the room that's sitting nearby. Let's connect on LinkedIn. Let's extend our customer success family. And please, by all means, give me an excuse to come back next year. I love Tel Aviv. Thank you very much.